Okay, thanks everyone for coming to my talk. It's been great getting to meet a bunch of you over the past, I guess, 2 days now. I am the founder of a text-to-video company called Fireframe, but we specifically focus on creating video for music content creators. Our tag phrase is, turn your words and sounds into stunning videos. I have a few goals for this presentation. I'm hoping that everyone gets to leave with a better sense of how video is going to impact the music industry, and also have a better sense of a practical way as a music creator you could start using it now, and then also get as inspired as I am about the possibilities of the future. There's been a lot of conversation throughout this conference about creating music with AI, and a lot of the uncertainty that creates around people who have dedicated the 10,000 hours of investment to becoming experts at creating music. And this is one element that got me really excited, is the idea that people can step into new creative domains and leverage their expertise in addition to basically amplify themselves by being able to use their creativity in new ways while keeping their secret sauce. So Fireframe really lets a music creator amplify themselves with video. So first, let's just level set. Why is this important? I mean, this is a music and tech conference, and I'm about to talk to you about video for a bit. And I think if I frame this, it makes sense, and you guys intuitively understand this. The world's attention, humanity's attention, is increasingly on video-first platforms, for better or worse. That's just where it is. And this is a particularly painful problem for music creators because a lot of the artists that I talk to don't love the visual universe. Like, they're sonic experience creators, and they don't want to necessarily level up on video creation skills or work on marketing skills. They'd much rather focus on their craft, which is creating music. And so because of that, they're left with a few kind of frustrating options. You can start to dabble in video creation to get your content out there, but then sometimes it feels like it's amateurish and it doesn't match the quality of the audio that you've created, and that can be frustrating. Another thing you might do is you might go full hawk and hire a production company to help you create a music video. You'll often pick one track for an album and go all in. You have a concept. There's a long production time, and that is very exciting and something people will always continue to do because it's a very cool creative process. But when we're talking about trying to get your audio out in today's video-first worlds where things are in 15, 20-second chunks, the juice is often just not worth the squeeze when it comes to doing a full music production. So what does that mean? That means, and actually we just learned earlier today that this number is even bigger, but that means that there's 100,000 tracks uploaded every day to Spotify, and almost none of it has video content. SoundCloud, one of the biggest distribution platforms, doesn't even give you the option to add video. So it's just like something that is unfortunately pushing audio creators into a universe that's just not growing as fast as the video-first ways where audiences are currently paying attention. So this is one of the things that got me really excited about working on Fireframe. I mean, obviously, AI is stepping into a lot of the creative realm, and I think this is a really interesting application where audio creators can use AI to make short-form video content for their music that is not like stock footage. It could actually be an expansion of your creative canvas. You basically can turn album art into a visual experience. And when we did some of the first prototypes, one of the things that was awesome to see is that people seemed to immediately recall a Fireframe when they heard the music for the first time, which is a very fascinating, creative option for you as a music creator. Is you can now actually push your audience to think about your universe in a particular way using these tools. So I don't want to talk abstractly about this. I want to show you something like practical, possible today. Someone just mentioned another text-to-video company. There are workflows. We have a particular take on the creative process. It's also evolving all the time, so I encourage you guys to participate in the conversation to help us make it better. But I want to show you a demo of it, how it exists now. Oh, actually, before I do that, who in here has used a text-to-video platform yet? See, okay, yes. So we have one. I'm still also finding, and this is fascinating because like when you're in it, you can see how fast things are changing. We're still so early in this process that we're very much at the exploring phase. So a lot of ideas, like if you choose to jump in and start using these tools, not only will you be a leader for your artistic community, but you likely have a very big chance of being able to influence where these tools go so that they can truly extend your creative process and be very fun and inspiring tools to use. Okay, so I'm going to show you Fireframe in its current form. This thing is designed to be used on a mobile device, mainly because video rendering time takes a little bit, as you will see. And what people often will do is they will create their music, they will produce a Fireframe while they're doing something else. So I'll show you how it works in a second, but you can fire off a generation run, have a notification go off, and continue to build out your video over time. That's why it's mobile first. This is a backup plan, so we're not going to do this. Well, actually, we might have to use the backup plan. Let's see. So can we switch to the live demo? I'm going to talk to the magic person in the back room here and see if this works. All right, cool. So, the screen is pretty faded, and the background to Fireframe is black, but this is a mobile device. You start by adding your track to Fireframe. So you create an account. You could do this today. Add a track to Fireframe, or you can go back to the main screen. Oh, don't actually add a track. There's one. No, you don't have to add one. There's one already in there. Click the back button in the top left corner for me, please, after you close this. There you go. Great. So let's pick the first track so we don't have to go through uploading a track. Great. All right, let's click New Video. So at this point, I've already added a track to Fireframe. It's already been analyzed. We use information from the audio signal as the first input to the generation process. So your audio is key to how this works. So this particular track is a reggae track. There's some built-in Fireframe styles. There's also the ability to create your own styles. This is kind of like going into making your own universe as an artist. Let's start with watercolor for this, because this is a reggae track. Let's say we want this to be an Instagram feed, so we'll go with the square aspect ratio. Okay, let's play it. Everyone take a moment and just go somewhere in your head. Where does this take you? Just think about it. I heard island over here. All right, so let's pause this for a second. Okay, so right there, this is one of the coolest things to me. A lot of us probably imagined a similar place, but some of us imagined a surprising place. And this is where the interesting creative experience starts for a musician, is where do I want to take my audience? Because I could take them to the predictable place, which is what we'll do right now, but you could also take them to a surprising place. I think yesterday Charles Dye was talking about seeking greatness through finding surprise. This is your first opportunity with your canvas to find some surprise. But we'll do something pretty predictable here. Let's do palm trees on a beach. Let's type that in. Cool. All right, we'll start it off. Now, the first thing it's going to ask you to do, and this is a key part of Fireframe's take on how things work. There are services out there that will generate short clips of video, just starting from a paragraph of text. We think that there needs to be a balance between human-driven and AI-assisted, and we want to make sure that there is a process here that gives you a lot of editorial control, even though it's amplifying your ability to create. But the first thing you can do here is segment the video into different video segments. There's transitions, everything you can do here, but let's just do that default 1-bar segment. You can just insert that. Oh, don't make it longer. Just do 1 bar, because it's going to take a while to render. Yeah, there you go. Insert segment. Great. Let's generate that. Cool. So this is going to take a moment to generate. There, we didn't do anything in terms of like controlling the camera, in terms of adding effects, and we didn't do anything about, in terms of thinking about the style beyond picking watercolor. But those are all options you can do. I'm not going to get into that. You guys can experiment with that. The point of this is to show a workflow, a creative process and workflow that's available right now, and how I think it's already changing the music industry. Okay, so this is almost done. We'll let this finish. And this is one of the reasons why, people often will throw it in their pocket. You get the ability to see the frames as they come in, and so if it goes off the rails, you can cancel it. Try again. Here we go. So now we have this cool video clip of an island for my song. Let's keep this. And now I've just shown you the creative loop for this app. You can now just add more and more segments and take people on a journey. And so I want to show you just real quick some more built out examples of this.
Welcome to...
Well, we'll see if it streams in. All right, we'll try the next video. Okay, yeah. So this was a more cyberpunky type feel. There's a pretty big diversity in what you can get even just what exists today. I mean, obviously this type of stuff is getting way better over time. This was Only for Tonight by Nightcap. I'll do one more. This is Into the Fire by Shadow Circus. I like how they do the transitions in this one in the beginning. An Escher rabbit is what they typed in, which I thought was pretty cool. They're controlling the camera motion here, zooming out, rotating. I love the drop into color. And you can control when you break the segment up and everything. So you can see, this is a big creative canvas. You can do some cool stuff with this. So that's full-on music videos. There's Dave Audet is currently an ambassador for Fireframe. He's using the platform. He is a Grammy Award winner, and he's notable because he has the most #1 songs on the dance club charts, Billboard dance club charts. And this is one of the things that gets me really excited. He is using this to create, because it's so easy to create video content, he's using it to create videos to promote his live performances the day of. Because he can create the content so quickly, it's not a big production, he can make something for one night and it's still effective. So this is something he did. So I think this was to a live stream countdown that he had in 2 hours. But this type of thing would normally be a big production that you wouldn't just throw together for. This was even not something this was a throwaway, I think this was a story, so you would only see it for 24 hours. So, some possibilities with this technology and how it's going to impact the music industry. One thing I'm really excited about is I see a future where every piece of music has at least just one piece of video content associated with it. And it becomes a part of experiencing music for the first time. And one thing I like to say to people, because attention is increasingly on video-first platforms, is this idea that the gateway to the ears is increasingly through the eyes. So you might have to ask yourself, what am I trying to have my audience feel in terms of the vibe of my creation? And that actually might be the starting place to get to your sound. Oops, get back here. This I also find really fascinating. With the ability to be able to create video content this quickly, your creative process actually shifts to, well, where is my audience and when are they? Just like what Dave Audet was doing, you could make a separate video for the same track for different times of year. or for a special event that is happening, which is kind of cool. It also creates a new feedback loop because the experimentation process is so cool. I mean, it's so quick, you can actually use the video to feed back into the audio. So we've actually been finding artists using the platform where they start with a version of the track, they get into the song, into the video creation process, and they realize, actually I want my track to go a different way, and they actually end up swapping the track out mid-flight because they made a change to it. I'm also really excited about the idea, and we have a bunch of artists doing this already, who go to their visual artist friends and ask them to work with them to make wireframes for them. They pay them for this, but they're paying them for the type of content that literally was just completely not possible before. So something that now maybe would cost you $100 to have someone really sit down and produce used to cost, $10,000. So now you actually can pay your friend a reasonable amount of money because they can produce so much faster. And then lastly, and importantly, this allows music creators to participate on the world's video first platforms in a way that they're currently not. All right, so what are some challenges with this? I mean, it's definitely not all roses. So the first thing is just dealing with vulnerability in general. That actually has been a big theme of the conference. The technology is disruptive, and there is concern that, as a musician who's using this technology, like, hey, am I taking jobs away from visual artists and videographers and whole production crews who would do a music video for me? And the truth is there is going to be some disruption there. But I like to focus on, and the reason I'm building Fireframe is I like to focus on what is net new. I mean, there is currently no one doing like really quick short form video content for music videos. Like, it's not like you're going to be taking, by creating this, you're not taking a production company's job away. This is an entirely new piece of economic activity. And I'm hoping that the production companies start offering this as a service, as like a white glove thing to music creators like you. But one thing that's neat is that with tooling like this, we're now collaborating over our words and our style and our artwork as opposed to the raw technical skill of like being able to open up Premiere. Authenticity. So this is going to be a tricky one. There's going to be a lot of content generated. So how do you make your voice unique in the fray of everything that's out there? One thing we're going to try and do at Fireframe is make sure you have a lot of creative control to kind of make your artistic universe push away from the mean. But this is a challenge. I mean, we don't want everything to feel the same. It needs to continue to be fresh. That's the other thing too. I mean, how do you make it keep feeling unique over time? It is solvable though, and there's going to be so many cool things that happen in this space that it just gets me very excited. But I also know there's lots of technical challenges between where we are now and where we're going to go over the next 5 years. And then the last one, I kind of touched on this earlier, balancing control and convenience. I mean, our philosophy is that the greatness lives in the editing of what's being produced. And so we need to make sure that, we're not just handing the reins over to the technology. Artists aren't going to like that, and people aren't going to like consuming that type of content. They're going to seek the uniqueness, the authenticity, the freshness. And so, an important aspect of building these tools and an important way you guys can interact with any platform that's building this is talk about the types of control you need in order to get your vision out. But one thing that's really cool is that the barrier to being able to iterate on a vision is dramatically falling. And that's one thing that's kind of inspiring to me. The barrier is falling so much that I think we're going to see some really interesting things in the music space over the next 5 years. One thing that was never possible before, but will be possible, is you could collaborate in real time with your fans, and your fans could actually directly, high quality, impact the work that's being created. Because they could go and make something that's and as I think we were hearing earlier from VibeQ when you guys were saying how the DJ is the master and they're getting all these requests coming in and they're kind of designing the artistic experience. I think that's going to happen for music creators too, where there'll be lots of platforms out there that facilitate, directly collaborating with fans, having the experience not just be one way, but a two-way. And I think that's really fascinating. Also, imagine live performances where the actual video content supporting the performance is reacting to the energy in the room because people are actively participating in the concert at that level. This technology will get ultimately faster and more capable over time, and I just see that happening in the next 5 years. And I think it's actually very exciting. There'll be a lot of people who are masters of the music creation craft who can step into a new domain and use it to amplify themselves in a way they hadn't amplified themselves before. So that's it for my spiel. I would love to talk to anyone, especially if you try Fireframe. I'd love to get some feedback, and I want to make it work well for your creative process.
Yes.
Yes, so you can go, the compute is expensive, but I want everyone to be able to at least get a taste to see if it works. So it's 30 seconds of video, which is enough to make like 2 Spotify canvases, which is kind of my goal. You can experiment a little bit and get a Spotify canvas out of it. And I'm hoping to see more Spotify canvases. Like there's not enough. So more.
So first of all, great technology. It looks amazing.
Thank you.
Looking forward to experiment with it. I have a whole bunch of questions, but I'll just start with one because I'm sure lots of other people have questions. So let's say I have a piece of music, interface with this program, come up with a video, put in a few prompts. At this juncture in the iteration of the technology, can I put in the MP3 file and will it react to it as it starts to create the video content?
Yes.
Okay.
And there, I will say too, especially if you try Fireframe and there's like the feedback system in there, we'd love to open up a conversation with you for the specific things you're looking for. So right now, the architecture is built so that we can be audio reactive and we can do lots of analysis of the sound file. Our philosophy is that the music is the starting place. Like that is where your mastery is. The question is, what should we extract and use to drive the outputs of the video? And so I'd be really curious to be like, I wish it if you had like something you wish it reacted to. That's not me. Just let me know.
So is it like ChatGPT in the sense that I can put something in and then ask additional questions? At minute 2, can you add blue to this or something like that for the creative?
Yes, yeah. So the workflow today, and this is getting better all the time. But the 2 ways in which you can have a little bit of like a feedback loop is, A, you can preview your prompt before you generate a video segment, and video segments can seamlessly stack on each other like you saw. So that's a useful piece of feedback to tune the prompt. Another thing is you can do like in a refinement step, you can say I want more or less of something that you were exposed to. And then the one last thing that happens is based on everything you've entered so far, and when you get into like a 5-minute video, you have now typed out a pretty serious story. There's a suggest button which will let you crank through like choose your own adventure style. This is next to get inspiration for like what you want your next segment to be.
So when it's all done and I go and post it on YouTube with my piece of music, who owns the copyright of the visuals?
You do.
Interesting. And then are you, in terms of coming up with the imagery, are you doing any scraping? Is it derivative works of other stuff that's out there? Is it all created? You talk about the Escher rabbit. Is that?
So it's a common, like first off, in order to train the foundation models, we have to teach them how to draw. So they have to know basic concepts. This is a tree. This is what watercolor is. One thing that is probably coming out this quarter, so stay tuned if this is something you want and you don't see yet, is the ability to use your album art and your own artwork as the starting place for the style. So it will be you who puts in what the style is, and then you have control over what you want to use.
Fascinating. Great. Thank you.
Yep.
We have time for one more question. going to try to my best. So sorry, guys, excuse me. Make it quick.
I guess going to that the last point there, that this quarter then you will be able to upload your corporate or your copyrighted material from then to create a genre that's to your liking and to your use.
Right. Or we call them styles at this point.
And so
There's
if
some other names coming
I'm
out too, but-
McDonald's, I then put up my template of logos, and I could use your services to create all types of advertisements around jingles that I've created for McDonald's.
Well, okay, so that's a very specific. We're not really building for corporate. So I don't know that I've tested something like that, where it's like, oh, let's use logos and see how logos come through. Really, the next generation of Fireframe that's coming out shortly is going to be more about trying to pull out a particular vibe, like color sets, try to guess at what a rose might look like in your universe, like based on your album art, as opposed to trying to like directly replicate another version of like this particular logo. But hey, if you're using it and you try the style generation feature and you're like, hey, I wish it did this, I mean, keep the feedback coming. One thing that is definitely for sure, I mean, this has been a theme, this stuff is changing so quickly. One thing I hope that Fireframe can do is like just build a community of music creators who are actually using this to like expand their brands and reach new audience members. And so what I really am curious in hearing is what you need in order to be able to do that more seamlessly. And we're all ears for changing a roadmap. Our roadmap is honestly like 3 years long now. So if you're a squeaky wheel, you might end up having something pulled up. Because I want it to be a community.
Thank you. Great job, by the way.
Thanks.
So I had two questions. First one was, are you planning on going into the production of lyric videos?
Yeah, yes. I mean, it's something that people have 100% asked for, and going back to the audio analysis part of the question earlier, we can pull the lyrics from the video and make a bunch of convenient workflows for that. So that's definitely on the roadmap. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, and then the second one, you touched on this one, is the question is, have you considered creating NFTs where artists can take in, let audience members, fans, create a section of a video, and now you got like this artist that's like a fan created, like an actual NFT,
The idea sounds dope. I will say that the one thing we've been playing with is from where Fireframe, actually I should have said this too. I mean, we've been out since January, so this is a very fresh product. And so we're focusing on some of the key workflows to begin with, but it's important for the social aspect of Fireframe, I think, to start to develop, because people keep asking for it, and they're doing the social part like on Instagram and Facebook, and we can do more within the Fireframe community. And one thing that we've been experimenting with is like running a contest so that someone could like earn the official Fireframe for a video.
Right.
Yeah. Now NFTifying, like tokenizing it, I mean, that's an interesting space. Maybe one day.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dane. Thank you very much.